Incoming message.
Listen, man, holistic wellness is now a high-ticket, high-seas venture. I just want to let everybody know
44
that this is the last year that you could talk to me at this level, because I'm going to find a way to get on one of these cruises.
I'm saving up.
And catch out. No, I ain't saving
and
up
I ain't going to be crew.
I'm going to be in a love boat.
I'm going to be on there.
Yeah, exactly.
Mr. Jones, how you doing? That's how you need to greet me.
Yeah, all right.
What's going on, fam? This is KR Jones of the Off the Strength podcast, and I am here to tell you to like, listen, subscribe, and if you're feeling freaky, visit offthestrength.com. That's where you can go and get more information on us. That's where we can link, we can build, we can connect, and let's make this thing work.
I'm going to let you know that I got too much of my mother in me. I know that all
you
too well.
Know?
Nah, I do know that. It's been something that I've been really trying to work around more and more as life has progressed.
You your mother's son.
Yeah, that attitude be right there.
For the people that don't understand, that means violence.
It be right underneath the surface.
It's right there.
At all times, I really try to present the best possible scenario and the best possible version of Tony that I have come to understand what this life is. And then as soon as it's a chance or opportunity for that other side to come back out,
yeah, I
backslide a little bit, Kyle. So I had a little bit of backslide.
Talk with your hands.
See, there was a homie that was riding around, right? This is just a quick little anecdote. My man pulled up on me, bumped me while I was riding.
On the bike?
Yeah, and I was like, hey, man, you ain't noticed that you bumped me? He's like, well, yeah, you didn't know if he was going to be in the lane or out of the lane. So I was like, oh, so you're justifying the fact he was on an e-bike. He's like, oh, so you know you hit me. Yeah, man. Well, you swerved and I just kind of like had to brush past. I was like, oh, okay. So you think that's cool? Yeah, you know, you got to make a decision sometime. Okay, so at that point in time, once he told me and he started talking like that, I made a decision to liberate myself from the situation.
How did you liberate yourself?
Let's just say,
how did you set him free?
You know the face mask, the helmets that come up with the face mask over on this side?
Yeah, for sure.
Very good handle on that. Let's just let you know that, you know?
Yeah.
Once you get one of those, it's like a pencil dispenser.
That's the right there. Face mask.
Yeah, face mask. 5 on the penalty. First down. What's good, everybody? What's good?
15-yard penalty.
That's what I got. He found all 15 of them yards. Took off. Welcome back to yet another episode of Off the Strength, where we give you the inside look at all things wellness culture. I am a trainer called Tony, and of course with me I have a gentleman of extraordinary league.
KR Jones is in the building.
That's right, folks. We are back. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of all type from near and far, you are now in store for a treat because it's the return of the variety show. That's when we give you our best foot forward. So hopefully you take your best foot forward. You do that 2-step, that tango, whatever it is you need to do to make it on through the week with the best goddamn wellness information available.
Yay.
Brother Jones.
What's the word?
I gave you a little snapshot of what my week was looking like, my man. Hopefully yours was a little bit better. How was you operating?
First and foremost, we're not going to stumble through
Pez dispenser.
The 15-yard penalty. That's hilarious. I've also witnessed another one of your encounters.
It's because people get out of hand. And when I tell you it's levels to the game, right? Yeah. I will be more than understanding. But what you can't do is talk crazy to me.
Yeah.
After you hit me.
And think it's going to be okay.
And then think it's going to be all right.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
That's what Dave Chappelle said after the Will Smith slap. He's like, well, Will Smith wouldn't have did.
Sat there and had a good time after
enjoyed the rest of his night.
That's why I was like, oh, you're not trying to ride the rest of the day. Oh, okay. I can fix this. It's no problem.
You know, it's more of a jousting that you were doing. You know.
It's neither here nor there. How was your week, my friend?
You know, Tom, my week has been, I would say, illustrated best through a baby step.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? This is the first day I have been able to wear pants, Tone.
Hey, look at that.
You know what I'm saying? Putting pants on you don't think is a huge deal until you can't do it.
Nah, I definitely remember that, man. And pants are overrated, high key, bro.
I disagree.
I'm picking up what the Muslim brothers overseas is doing, bro. I'm going to just start doing that big tarp joint.
Yeah, you can have that.
Yeah, man.
Let the wind blow your way. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of wind blowing, it is official shift in seasons, man. The fall equinox is here, and I feel an abundance of energy shifting in the air, as you alluded to earlier. So for good or worse, I'm here for this shift.
I did some stick shifting. That's what I was doing.
For sure.
You know, in the helmet joint.
I want to let people know that is a trainer called Tony who is mentioning violence.
I did not say anything about violence. I just said stick shift. You know, I was changing gears. You know, as I allowed the energy of the situation and have a shift. Kyle, I too was in a whole mix of shifting throughout the course of this week's highs, lows, and everything else. I feel like I keep coming back around.
Okay.
Some of the same themes, my friend. And I'm
full circle moments.
Yeah, I don't necessarily want to endure this too much.
Yeah.
But I also had to take a step back and look at, we are on the preface of fall, and also we're coming up on World Mental Health Day. Some of these issues that I am correcting on a day-to-day basis are because people are suffering from mental health. And Kyle, I could see, I wasn't proud in my moment, but I could tell you that, you know what, I need to work on different means of resolving some of this energy that comes across here, even when people do me wrong. So I'm trying to work on that, and that brought me to what I want to talk about on this Ask the Professionals this week, my friend. Because operating like this as a modern black man, I got a lot that it'll cost me if I get caught up in the wrong situation.
Costs me a lot.
I can't go through this, but people keep trying me, man, and I don't want to keep going through this. So I wanted to know, Kyle, what are 3 things that the modern black man, having gone through all the stuff that you have had to go through to make it to 2020 and 4, how can you improve the quality of your mental health and decision making with this new context of what's going on in the world? Because I see a lot of black men making some decisions that's a little questionable. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's 3 simple things, right? First thing being, you have to have an intentional breath practice. We breathe involuntarily and we take it for granted every day. There's so many people that are, nose breathers, if you will, or not nose breathers, I should say, only breathing out the mouth. And it's imperative to your survival, your safety, and calming your mind if we're talking about mental health. Secondarily, I would say it would be very, very advantageous to use your mind wisely. Mm-hmm. So by expanding your mind, wherever you are right now, you can always learn more. You can always deepen your practice via academically, via spiritually, whatever the case may be. But the expansion of your mind has to happen. The last part to that will then be being impeccable with your words and your delivery. Say what you mean what you say. If my words hold weight and there's violence at the end of that, that's just how I gotta operate. But if that is not the case, you get what I'm saying? You need to work on the landing and the delivery, so to speak.
Absolutely. Now, I'm trying to be a better person. I'm trying to advance. Every week, I feel like I take 2 steps forward. Somebody gonna make me take a damn step back.
But be that way sometimes.
Along that path, I found out 3 things myself. So I found my biggest help came from community. So I would say seek community and supportive networks of people who are going through similar stuff. I mean, that could be family, that could be organizations such as the Off the Strength podcast and our extensive network of health and wellness professionals. And it could just be people that you kick it with on a regular basis, man. I really do think building connections with others that are going through the same kind of strife helps you normalize the situation. You don't feel like you going through it all by yourself. You know what I mean? The next thing I would do is that you definitely need to prioritize self-care. I cannot stress this enough. Yeah. I am famously somebody who would burn the candle on both ends for entirely too long in life.
Yeah.
That hustle culture.
That don't work.
That grind out culture.
It's a double-edged sword.
That you got to be excellent. No, I'm striving for black mediocrity one day. We're going to land on it. I want to get to that. But at some point, I do have to make sure that you pour back into that cup, right? I do have to make sure that you get into different rituals that'll help you actually deal with some of the stresses that you got coming across the day. So for me, it could be in the form of journaling. It's usually in the form of movement somehow, some way. Or it definitely is something that I spend way too much time. If y'all ever see a lot of water going on in my stories or anything like that, I'm
holding back
sitting on the dock of the bay trying to work through some shit.
For sure.
Wrestling with all the intention.
Watching the tide roll away.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to go through it, man. The last thing, Kyle, last thing to really consider is kind of to your point, look at all the different options that come across as mental health resources specifically. Yeah. We are coming up on Mental Illness Awareness Week and that Mental Health Day. There's going to be a lot of different variety of stuff that you could try. If you ain't feeling good, go ahead and try it out so that you avoid those hot flash moments, kind of like we was talking about in the beginning of the side. And I can't wait.
Knee-jerk reactions, if you will. The
knee-jerk reaction. This wasn't really a knee-jerk. I had the opportunity to exit at any point in time. He kept choosing to stay on the same road. So it was like, all right, sometimes you just got to let him know, right? And comma in that sentence, that's not the way you should deal with stuff. So I'll be happy to talk about this and much more as I team up with the good brother Ja Holla when he has his mental health awareness activation that's coming up later on in the month. I'll make sure I'll drop some details on that. You got anything else you want to put on it for this mental health resource and Ask the Professional, Kyle?
Do the work, man. It's your work to do, as you alluded to, and you're responsible for it. So you can't count on anybody else to coach you through that. You got to push yourself.
And the work is damn sure the work, bro. It's usually when you in the bottom of the barrel.
When that candle then got to the bottom.
You got to figure out, all right, I need to replenish. I need to do this. I don't want to get to this point again. I got to, get off the exit a little sooner than later, So that's it on that part. That's what I wanted to leave out with. And Kyle, now it's time to get into some of this good.
Okay.
It's going to be time to get into some of this bad.
All right.
And it's going to be time to get into a little bit of the ugly this week. That's right, Kyle. It's time for this week's episode of Rip from the Headlines. And Kyle, the first thing I want to start off with is going to be something that I'm going to say is good, but some people might be a little upset about this. Now, Kyle, historically speaking on the Off the Strength podcast, I have been telling people about charlatans in fitness for a very long time.
Jezebels.
You could go back and look at some of the goofy shit that people have been doing in this industry for a very long time, making a whole lot of money. And I will say, on my namesake, I've marched out of spaces because people were doing dumb shit. Well, did you see this week, none other than Gangsta Gwen is calling it quits inside the health and wellness industry. And I'd like to say that the reporting on Off the Strength may or may not have played a role into that.
GP, are you with me?
For those that don't know, Gwyneth Paltrow has been fleecing the industry for the longest time.
Very long time.
With things like coffee enemas, with things like the Dracula facials, with things that have a whole list
the bumblebee therapy.
Insane tactics that she's treating you with. Finally, today they decided to lay off about 18% of their final workforce, and they are now shifting the brand to be centered around fashion, beauty, and food, which is still going to be in wellness. But Kyle, how do you feel about hearing that GP is finally starting to move away from our territory?
I am a bit bittersweet.
Why is that?
Much like, when a car crash happens, you can't take your eyes off of it. It's one of those things where, like, granted, what she's been doing and how she's been able to finesse folks is very car crash adjacent, but I'm a little sad that she walking away. You know what I mean? Now, if I was to crash out, as the kids say, with the money that she walking away with.
And that's my point about black mediocrity.
That's where I want to be.
I've seen plenty of they mediocres walk away. This company was valued at $250 million at its heyday. We don't never get to hear where all that money goes when she's walking out the door.
Just walking with her.
I want to be black mediocre so I can just get cashed out. I want to get fired and leave with 300 M's. It's like that's my highest of aspirations in all of my life.
There's nothing mediocre about a coffee enema, right? Now do your research.
The Dracula facial was a real thing. Please go look that up.
For sure.
She was definitely trying to move this stuff. I don't know if that was good or not. I said it was good. I'm celebrating it. Kyle's next story was definitely something that struck me near and dear to my heart too, because it's also a sign of the ugliness that we see in the times.
Okay.
Did you see that people are now starting to resort to extreme measures to start to get themselves noticed in the job market? I don't know if you paid attention to that, but you kind of have to go above and beyond to get hired today.
I've been unemployed for 2 years. I've seen it all, Tone.
What are you willing to try to get somebody to pay attention to you?
It's not about what you're willing to do. It's more of what won't you do to succeed these days.
Would you send somebody a resume pizza box? Because Pizza Hut just started to roll out this week.
100%.
That you could print out your resume,
put it
on
right
a pizza box, and send the pizza directly to people.
Who do you work for?
The game is nasty, bro.
Hey,
if this is what you got to do to get to the office,
lunch.
Yo, 12:15. I want this right on Johnny's desk.
I need 12 boxes. Give me the mediums. I don't like the budget on the extra larges.
What kind of pizza are you sending people if you had to do a job resume pizza?
Everybody love cheese. You know what I'm saying? Then you got the pepperoni and the veggie slice. And then you just rotate them around.
All right, man.
Hawaiian for the freaky folks.
See, I feel like you send somebody a Hawaiian pizza, you're not getting that job.
Well,
I feel like you
I had to slow down my Hawaiian pizza because my lady's allergic to pineapples. But if she wasn't, I would be a client and player president for Hawaiian pizza.
I thought that this was a sick indication of what the time is actually like, but apparently
that's thinking outside the box.
The resumes.
You see what I did?
There's a lot of puns in this story. Resumes is what people are sending out. If you feel like you need to stand out in the job hunt, maybe sending somebody a slice.
Is crazy.
It's the way to go.
Thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
Y'all not picking up what I'm putting down.
Did. I see what
hilarious.
You did. I'm not appreciative of it because why are we doing this in 2024? This is nasty work. I'm really depressed by this.
I'm here for it, man. Don't let me find out who they printing with.
He's like, yo,
that's
I need to
Vista
get that
print option right there. I need some new business cards anyway.
Yo, Fib, all right. Next couple stories out are hopefully a little bit more rounded than this last one. You know, the next thing that I saw is a new trend coming up. It's the new IT workout, Kyle. You know, we always come up with them every single year.
No.
Vogue is now talking about the top IT workout of 2024. How do you feel about Pilates?
I'm here for Pilates. I want people to do their research. I want them to realize that this was something that started in like the World War afterwards for soldiers that were injured and they were on their bed.
Joseph Pilates.
And this is how they revitalized themselves back to life.
Yeah.
So
it was rehab.
It was rehab. The origin of Pilates, I'm here for. I love that. That's the kind of work I do.
How do you feel about hot yoga?
You know, hot yoga, depending on who and what and the company that's teaching it, I'm here for it as a practice. Not all hot yoga, because obviously, you know, homie who name I ain't going to drop, then jammed it up for a lot of us.
He's the originator. We got to take everything that come with it. If we had to take Gwen, you going to take Bikram. You got to take him too.
That name is, we don't speak on him like Robert. They in the same category.
He damn sure was, but skated on the package. Anyway, all right, so you like Pilates, you like hot yoga. What if I told you, Kyle, that there is a company that is putting both of these things together, and it is now the IT girl workout of choice.
Pilates?
Hot Pilates is taking off by storm, my friend, and I'm telling you right now, in an article from Vogue, they are talking about Fuse House and how many different classes they have with this high-intensity form of Pilates happening in a heated room where temperatures could reach typically from 95 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit as you perform the workout. Now, here's a word of caution for this. The hot yoga, you're not necessarily moving at a high intensity. You're moving slower. You're holding the same positions and poses.
It depends on what kind
if you're going back to the Bikram side.
Yeah,
sorry.
no.
That was traditionally you stay with the same poses.
flows where you move and the temperature's a little lower.
Okay, at 100 degrees high intensity, those two words going in the same conversation, I just say play at your own risk. What's your thoughts on how this is rolling out and what you think people would be interested in the industry?
The science behind it. I think this has, it's got some heat to it, no pun intended. Just because heat being a vasodilator, so it definitely creates more blood flow within the body. So what it does is it gives you a false sense of flexibility more than it would if you were in a colder temperature or at a cold state where you hadn't warmed up fully. Pilates itself is a lot of movements that are isolated movements.
Yeah.
Very similar to how a bodybuilder would train to be on stage. A Pilates reformer, if we're talking about reformers that they're using.
It's hot for reformer classes.
Is going to be something where it's a lot of subtle movements, but mixing that with heat is going to fatigue the muscle way faster than it already does with just the reps alone, let alone the heat. So definitely you need to hydrate, because that's going to be like...
If you thought you had a muscle cramp, let me tell you what that hundreds is going to look like. You're doing that on a reformer and it's hot at the same time. You're losing fluid.
So you're adding more to this workout that you're doing. So, you know, now I would like to see a class like that. You know,
it looks nice.
And the participants that would be in there.
Oh, it's top shelf.
Because the demographic that it sounds like it would serve is one that I like to, you know, support.
And they damn sure serving.
My lady does Pilates, you know what I'm saying? So
clean it up.
Yeah, I'm frequently in the space. So I would love to see it, not necessarily do it.
Okay. You know, so again, they talked about how the increase in blood flow, loosening the muscles, and the things that you need to pay attention to, such as anybody with any kind of underlying issues, any kind of comorbidities that we've talked about.
If you can't breathe, don't take your ass in that heat.
They literally say asthma is one of the things that you definitely should not
because you can't
pop
breathe
up inside there
in regular air. No need to heat it up.
Heating it up and holding a position and making yourself hyperventilate at the same time, that's usually a recipe for bad business. But moving on, Kyle, I'm going to talk about some good business in this last one. Now, I keep trying to tell you that this whole health and wellness thing is only high end and low end from here on out.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to check out Fortune magazine this week?
No, I'm not that well read, Tony.
You should be, man. Step your game up, yo. Okay. We trying to get these big checks out here. Now, in Fortune magazine.
Big checks?
No, you can't do that one. It's like
almost.
We can't go into that.
Almost. That's why I changed the word. I said checks. I didn't say.
You can't do it.
I didn't say the lyric that it was.
Can't do it.
It was a change.
Can't do it. Not in these days.
On the left.
The new frontier of luxury wellness, Kyle, is going to be luxury travel wellness. Now, I've talked about the luxury sector and I've talked about the travel sector being the fastest growing. Kyle, if I told you that there is a new cruise for the low price of $44,000 that you can get a whole course of stem cell treatments, longevity club, stocked with IVs.
What you trying to sell me? I want to go back to the price tag in the beginning.
$44,000.
Now tell me what I get.
You got to get your big chips up, bro.
For 44-piece nugget.
They're doing stem cell treatment. This longevity club is stocked with IVs, and you can get anything that you want that is going to be improving your health and wellness. They are saying that this is going to be the blue zone of the sea. So you can get things like Botox. You can get blue zone inspired meals. That's going to be all the Mediterranean diets that are really associated with people living their longest type of life. You can get this, Kyle, all on this same cruise. And I'm telling you right now, it is just a snippet of what's happening in this wellness cruise tourism kind of sector. So the sector as it stands right now is at $5 trillion.
Okay.
By itself.
Yeah.
All the other pieces in wellness.
That's a T, not a B.
Keep trying to tell you that this is a global phenomenon where people all over the world are really trying to see this blue zone at seas take off. And there apparently is enough of a demand. This is now, in our reporting, the fourth $30,000 and above service that you can get inside of health and wellness. What's your thoughts about hearing where people are taking it in this next excursion out at seas, man?
First and foremost, I want to know if there's a layaway plan, because
that's not in their vocab,
I would
bro.
gladly sign up for a pay-as-you-go model in small increments for the rest of my life. Number two, speaking of the rest of my life,
people are trying not to have the rest of their life.
In this 44, do I get to clone myself?
Anti-aging treatments are there.
So no,
stem cell treatments are there.
I need another version of me that can do what I need to do while I'm here in vacation mode. You get what I'm saying?
I would definitely be down for that, man. Apparently, it's so popular that they're apparently supposed to be adding another $1 trillion to their earnings before the end of 2024. So the Global Wellness Institute is now starting to report on how much money some of these people are spending on extending their life, Kyle.
The last part I need to see is this boat that you speak of that's supposed to be $44,000 worth. Now, if it come with the fixings, like if it got the helipad on top and I can use that helicopter at my leisure to bounce to different islands and catch up with the boat when I need to, I'm around for that type of thing. But if you just put me on a boat, I don't like the state of the ocean. Global warming is real. Depending on where we're going,
well, you check down in Ibiza.
Really try and be there.
You check down in Ibiza for sure. They're not stopping they ain't stopping at the ports where you don't have the money to do what you need to be doing over there.
Phillips is real. There's folks out there pirating.
I told you it's in Fortune magazine. They lighten you up if you pull up to that boat the wrong way.
For 44 of them things, they better. But for 44, I need access to the helicopter to be able to get to New York to come back, or not to New York, but to wherever I need to be to get back onto this cruise.
Listen, man, holistic wellness is now a high ticket, high seas venture. I just want to let everybody know
44
that this is the last year that you could talk to me at this level, because I'm going to find a way to get on one of these cruises.
I'm saving up
and catch out. No, I ain't saving up.
And I ain't going to be crew.
I'm gonna be in a love boat.
I'm gonna be on there.
Yeah, exactly.
Mr. Jones, how you doing? That's how you need to greet me.
Yeah, all right, man. That's it from my side of what I saw in the wellness streets. What you got on your end, man?
Man, that was a lot to take in, brother. Partner left once again. That was crazy. Sliding out of that, we're going to talk about a little rip from the headlines that I had. Now, one, I had an experience that I never thought that I would have, and I did.
You had the Pez dispenser dude too? Yo?
No, I did not actually. No, on the real, I don't get too starstruck from time to time, Tony. You know me, I'm very even keeled, but when you come in contact with the greatest mascot there ever was, it changes you.
I don't know who you were talking about.
I'm talking about Big Ellie.
Okay.
Of the New York Liberty.
I'm happy for that.
I was invited to the game. We had really good seats to the point where I actually was face to face with Ellie. We kicked it. You know what I'm saying? We had a moment, and I was like, yo, you are a star. I see it. You know what I'm saying? So, the Liberty lost the game, but they are the number one seed in the playoffs, so shout out to them. But it was just one of those starstruck moments where it's like, yo, you be doing the damn thing.
Shout out.
From outfit changes to crowd participation, like top tier mascot. I'm going to go ahead and say the GOAT, even though it's an elephant.
It's an elephant, but the elephant's the GOAT. All right.
I'm just putting it out there.
Salute to Big L.
Big Ellie. There you go. Put some respect on her name.
Salute to Big Ellie, man, and everybody on the Liberty, man.
Now, speaking of changing fits, let's talk about Kyrie Irving's new sneaker line. Are you up? Wow. I want you to tell the people how you feel about it.
Yo, shout out to Kyrie for stepping out on his own accord and doing some stuff.
First, there was a basketball shoe for those that pay attention. Now he's moved into more casual streetwear as well as some skateboarding shoes, too.
Yeah, some of these is just, they not doing it, bro.
Now, arguably, if you go into the history of what streetwear is right now, the origin stems from skating. Right.
Yes.
So a lot of the baggy clothes, a lot of the shoes like Dunks were skateboard shoes.
Absolutely.
That has just, ubiquitously taken over the market. So to pivot into a skate sneaker doesn't seem like a bad idea on paper.
I think a skate sneaker makes sense. Much like I think Braun coming out with a workout sneaker makes all the sense in the world because you don't just walk around in your basketball shoes all day.
Yeah.
I wish that he has some other people on his creative team. I could tell you that much just out the gate.
I'm not mad at him.
I definitely am. I'm viscerally mad at the one with all of them damn strings on it. I'm actively angry about that shoe. Not the moccasin looking one that looks like it's tribal. The other, the one I'm talking about.
I'm with you. It's something that is very nuanced and it's a bold step. See what I did there? The shoe, the step.
Throw him out.
Y'all ain't picking up what I'm putting down, damn it. No, I am here to support it. I don't think that, to your point, the design is fully there, but I'm looking forward to the growth of it, so I had to highlight it.
The design looks lazy, if I'm going to be honest with you. And it's not just him that I'm talking to.
Less is more.
It's all sneaker design is looking real lazy. That body and the silhouette of that shoe is something that has been around in skateboarding way too long. He just put a bunch of extra shit on top of the same shoe. And I think that's my old man starting to speak.
Black mediocrity. That's what you wanted. Now, speaking outside of black mediocrity, let's talk about the design and stay there for a little bit. Now, something that I came across that I had seen but not up close and personal was the off-road Maybach, Tone. Now, the off-road Maybach was designed by Virgil Abloh. And I don't know if you're up on Supercar Blondie or Super Blonde Car, whatever her name is on Instagram, but she pretty much reviews all the exotic cars that are like one-of-ones, concepts, and things of that nature. This off-road Maybach being a one-of-one, obviously the last and only Maybach that Virgil designed. How are you feeling about seeing this firsthand, up close and personal?
I like that Virgil got all that he was supposed to get out of the world in the time that he was supposed to be here.
Okay.
Because Virgil definitely skated on the plug a couple times. he left everything.
Yeah, he left it on the table.
This is not a car that I could drive, but I'm happy that he made that work. I definitely like the way he put it together.
I'm not even a Mercedes dude or the Maybach dude, but that I would be styling in on a day-to-day.
Nah.
Easily.
It don't, it's just, you could pay for, what's the whole joint? You could pay for, I don't even know. I'm dropping the ball.
You can go to school, but you can't. Yeah. You can go to school, but you can't buy class.
Yeah. That's just a little too much for me. It's a little too much dip on that chip. But
I'm here for
shout
that
out
dip.
to everybody that likes it.
I'm here for that dip and that chip. You hear me?
I want either an off-road vehicle or a luxury vehicle. I don't want the hybrid.
I want the luxury vehicle that's built for off-road that I'm never taking off-road.
That's kind of what I'm looking at.
That's what I'm here for.
Where are you driving this?
I want to be prepared for the end of the world, but look like I'm at the beginning. You get what I'm saying?
I can't do it.
All right, sliding out of that. Speaking of luxury, you actually sent this to me. How do you feel about the $2,600? That's not 26. Move your decimal, folks. Push it back a little bit. $2,600. It's $2,600 set of Louis Vuitton dumbbells, Tony.
I feel like they go right in the back of that same truck. You can work out while you're doing your off-road.
I'm going to get the Louis Vuitton tips.
Yeah.
I'm going to get the dumbbells. Yeah. I'm going to get Pharrell's jacket in the back.
Yeah,
you can't tell me nothing.
And motherfuckers are corny as hell with all of that on. That's kind of how I feel. If I actually see somebody pull those out, I'll be so disappointed.
What kills me is it doesn't look like it's above 15 pounds. Like that's
a calm 10-pound weight, bro.
I know, but I gave it the benefit of the doubt. Like the heaviest it could be is 15 pounds, right? Like, and that's a stretch. It looked more like a 7.5.
That's a 10 to that's a 5 to a 10 pound weight. There's no more than that.
For $2,600,
leather handle, leather trim around the top. You got the damier print around the actual bell itself.
It's embossed on the top and the bottom. Like,
yeah, I told you, wellness is getting out of hand, bro.
Man.
It's insane. If you're working out on that $40,000 cruise, now that makes sense to me. It kind of goes with that world.
Speaking of getting out of hand, this is where I'm going to round out the ugly, because we've been building our way up. Have you seen that FX has created an Aaron Hernandez story.
I have not watched it. That's going to
be releasing on Hulu.
I definitely have. I've seen at least the advertisements for it. I haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet.
You just laid out Mental Health Month, or Mental Health Day is coming up. And I feel like folks didn't even digest the Donald Sterling Clippers series that came out.
Yeah.
There were a lot of players that came out that talked about how historically inaccurate it was. And it just seems like these stories are being greenlit that nobody asked for. And I don't think they're really being told at the level of care and craft and tact that it should be.
Uh-huh.
When I think about the Aaron Hernandez story, I think about somebody who's been strong or heavily impacted by mental health, from committing suicide to the murders and just his whole career outside of the football field. And even if you add in stuff like CTE and not being able to examine his brain to see the effects and things of that nature, I just feel you coming out with a series is not highlighting the issues, and it's just putting a Band-Aid on the issue, if so. Not even a Band-Aid, really. It's more so
about those issues.
They're not showing it at all, but it's not even putting light on the root. You know what I mean? It's just highlighting the end result.
Yeah, I think it's entertainment, so I'll give it a little bit of grace from that standpoint, as he was a public person and his life played out as public fodder, so I kind of could lend some credence to that. But the other thing is, if you started to make it actually something that you wanted to take care of the problems with, you'd have some pretty big corporations that you have to go against, because you can't have that CTE conversation without talking about the NFL.
Insert anybody other than Will Smith and that terrible Nigerian accent he did. That concussion movie is doing numbers.
And you don't want to put that at the forefront of your season kicking off or any of that kind of stuff. So I could understand why somebody would greenlight that, because it is in football season. It comes with a nested crowd.
Of course.
They just came off of doing, Netflix just had the docuseries where they were unpacking all of the stuff that led up to, from college all the way through to when he actually took his life, you know. So this story has that same thing where people love to understand and unpack pain in some weird, like, hyper sensationalized kind of way. You know, this dude has been messed up since high school, kind of. It's like, and this was a slow moving train. He is never really somebody that has fully understood what that him messing up in high school kind of looked at, and we watched this dude kind of turn into a murderer right in front of everybody's eyes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was it's a sensational story. I could imagine that those stories are easier ones to tell than like if he was doing some positive shit.
It's interesting that we landed at this point, but I'm gonna slide this into the Raising the Bar segment and pick it up, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of all type from near and far, you now are in store to raise your bar. Brother Tone.
Yes, sir.
We just wrapped on a conversation, but I'm picking it up again because I think there's a direct correlation. You spoke about pain being sold, right? And when I think of that, I think often enough about music in the Black community. It's like, yo, that is somebody putting their heart on the line, on the track, and it's entertainment, right? Like, and you have to put a dollar amount on that, which is crazy to me, but the way of the world, who am I to change it? I'm just a dude with ideas, right? It brings me to that meditation that I did with Kenji Summers. Shout out to that brother.
Salute.
Remember, I talked about this before, and essentially Kenji played the Kendrick song, How Much a Dollar Costs, in its entirety. And then he briefly dissected the song and then added his own anecdotes, you know, and his relatability to it, right? So I was moved by this practice naturally. I'm like, yo, let me see if I can replicate this on my own from time to time. You don't often necessarily need to be where you're at to start your own evolution, so to speak. So most recently, I was listening to the track Blessed by Schoolboy Q and Kendrick Lamar.
Okay.
Now, first thing, it's a damn shame that this song isn't available on streaming platforms. We talked about pain and good music and when you don't get samples cleared, or I don't know what the holdup is, but it's an amazing song. It's not on streaming platforms. I hate that. You got to go to like YouTube or SoundCloud or some shit. Aside from that, secondarily, I am blessed See what I did there again? Third time, Tony. I'm blessed to have seen Schoolboy perform this more than once. So not only is this my favorite song, but I've seen it in person. The song was released in 2012. I was a junior in college, and I felt it immediately. Now, Schoolboy takes you through his story of struggling and having faith in things that didn't work out and what the future would look like. And then you get into a Kendrick verse. Now, Kendrick, as he often does, he takes it a step further, right? He's going to visually paint a picture of struggle, and then he's going to direct you through a little progress, right? Now, earlier I talked about a little baby step. There's a line in the song, couple stanzas. I'm going to give it to you without the curse words because, sponsors.
Okay.
Off the Strength. Sponsor us. We need it.
That good, clean, healthy energy.
Good, clean. 18 and older, Now, with that being said, he says, you're blessed. Take advantage. Do your best. Don't stress. You were granted everything inside this planet. Anything you imagine, you possess. You reject those who neglect the respect for the progress of a baby step.
Mm-hmm.
Bars. Right? I was like, man, this nigga spit. You know what I'm saying? Now, those bars hit like a ton of bricks, right? Like he was speaking directly to me in 2012 and again in 2024. And it brings me to this conversation I had last week with a fellow biker of mine, because, I'll be getting a lot of love from the biker community after this near-death experience that I've had. And I told them I find myself walking more blessed than I ever been before. And with that, it took me back to that 2012 moment of Kendrick Lamar and Schoolboy and just really sitting in this song and the weight of experience and the weight of pain and the weight of, damn, he was at a point where he was struggling, but now he, is seemingly working through whatever it was he had back then in a more positive light, so to speak. His music is changing. He's evolving. I just seen him on tour again. The brother looked healthy and happy. You know what I mean? So in this conversation, I'm speaking to my friend like, yo, I've been walking softly on the earth and I've been walking heavily into my purpose. And Brother Tone, now you are a man of many blessings, want to say. My question to you would be, what advice could you give someone navigating the space between struggle and a blessing?
I hope you have faith. And that's the realest part about it. And
expand on that.
It's often the thing that I can't tell you that I have every single day I wake up and try to make that work. I look at, and I honestly, I find myself being envious of people who have that unshakable faith because they could see themselves through the parts of the down and still know that tomorrow is going to be better. In parts of my story, I could definitely realize that I've been afforded different blessings and different opportunities. And then in some parts of my story, I feel like it's tough to find that faith in it turning around unless it comes from the inside. It turning around unless I find my own path of liberation. It turning around unless I get tired enough of one of these situations and I make the change happen. So there's that whole conversation between faith and work, and where you find yourself or where I find myself is really, I told you, kind of like that same, how we started the episode. I, at different times, I wish a motherfucker would, but I pray he don't. Like on some real shit. I pray he don't, because I know, damn, I got to bring all this with me.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this, but I pray to have that change me, and that's the same conversation I find myself in across multiple different aspects of my life. It's in the creative spaces, it's in the work spaces, it's in the times where I feel like I want to do the most for the people that I love the most, but I can't do it. It's that escaping, that thing that you're grasping for. The struggle to see yourself still be the person that you are in the face of all the doubt or in the face of any kind of adversity that comes across there. That's when you really need all of the tools that we talk about. So I can't tell you from a perspective of somebody that has mastered that. This is a lifelong practice. This is something that I, on a daily basis, really dedicate my whole waking moment to. How do I do this a little bit better? How do I change this a little bit more? And I really do think the people who have the strongest faith find their way through that the easiest.
It's interesting you said that. I'm thinking of what came up as I was listening. One being the idea of someone having their faith just unshaked, unscathed, so to speak.
Yeah.
To that, I'm going to say a smooth sea never made a skillful sailor.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't think it's necessarily faith that's unshaken, but more so when it's tested. Mm-hmm. And you see the step up, the evolution, the miracle happen, right? Like that is when I feel faith is at its highest, right? Mm-hmm. It's like you have to be tested. If you aren't tested, you blindly believing and you're not doing the work, right? Because you spoke on secondarily the work element, and I've seen in my family older people like who have that blind faith and no work. And, you know, the world doesn't work that way. Your light bill do, oh, Lord, help me with this bill.
Help me see this bill.
He going to help your ass in the darkness because you ain't going to have the lights on no more, right? You're going to have to get up and work for it. And I think that is the other side. And it's not necessarily about having it all figured out. When I think of faith, I think about a staircase that goes into the clouds. Right? You don't see where it ends. You don't see a railing. You don't see another floor. You just see steps. When you start to take those steps in the dark, that's when you have to know you're elevating. Right? There isn't no other choice. If the steps going down and it's red,
you in a bad situation, buddy.
you in a bad place.
You done.
Don't go to the red. Go to the light. That's all I know. I don't know nothing else, right? But when you are taking steps of faith, you do have to believe in each step, right? When I'm recovering from this injury, I have a cane still, but I'm making sure that I'm utilizing the entirety of my foot with each step. When I walk upstairs, I am using my whole foot and stepping on faith that one day I'm not going to have to use this cane. One day I'm going to be skipping steps again. Today, I'm going to wear pants. This is my first time in a month.
That's the baby step right there.
That's a callback, right?
It.
But that's the faith that you have to have. And I'm not saying that it's blind. I just know that I got it for when it needs to be tested.
Yeah.
And when that test shows up, I ain't saying I'm getting an A. I was never an A student, but I was an honor roll student. I know how to pass a class. I know how to fight for my goddamn life. And I'm going to do it.
Absolutely. Now, that part I ain't never wavering on.
Say it with your chest.
See, no, I have to calm down because the last time I did that, it was almost a situation.
Stop speaking on that, man. What's wrong with you? Right? I don't know what you're talking about.
It was almost a situation, bro. But in all honesty, in all sincerity, that's the place where I find myself really resonating from as of recent times the most. It's kind of like you can only watch so many of the lessons that you take from anything that didn't play out the way that you anticipated it or hope for or dream for or strive for in that pursuit to get to whatever your better is. I can only watch that so many times and then try to understand like where did this go the direction that I didn't want it to, or make a turn or do something else. And I would want to believe that eventually it'll all come together. And at the same time, I ain't waiting to see if anybody's going to make it come together but me.
Amen to that, brother. Listen, build your own table. Eat with who you want to eat with.
Yeah.
Life is too short to share dinner with somebody you don't like.
Oh, yeah, man. Nah, I took a couple meals off the table this week.
We ain't breaking bread with folk. If you ain't gang.
Yeah.
Peace.
Deuces.
For the listeners that ain't seen me throw up the peace sign right there. So sliding out of that tone, it sounds like we need to transition into a relax responsibly segment. Now, please let the folks know who this segment is brought to you in part by.
Well, I would hope it's brought to you in part by you, man.
You goddamn right it is, Tony.
There we go.
That's what we call the assist for the layup, right? The lob. Now, the Relax Responsibly segment is brought to you in part by me. Goddamn it, that's KR Jones. Come visit me at Frequency Movement Saturdays at 11 a.m. for an elevated yoga class where I will personally roll you a joint. It's a small one. Don't get greedy, right? And from that joint, we're going to smoke, we're going to talk, catch up on life, and then we're going to flow for an hour. You know what I'm saying? So I think that that's the only way to really responsibly relax on a Saturday morning into the afternoon, but I could be wrong.
How has the new time been treating people, man?
The new time has folks late. You know, so still, it's like you push it back an hour and you think you got more time. It's always that little,
it's a delicate dance.
Yeah, man. So we're easing into it, right? We all trying to coalesce.
Okay.
To, rendezvous at the same time.
I got it.
But nonetheless, it's still a good time. And the people, the community, man, that keeps showing up and coming back to me is amazing. There was a young lady in class today. I haven't seen her in a month of Sundays, and she was out traveling the world, right? There was another person I ain't seen in two months of Sundays, if you will, and she was
back
out
to your black measurements,
living life. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, it was, a year, 11 hours was the last time I saw her. You do the math on that.
I feel you.
Now, Brother Tone, I would talk a little bit about how I was relaxing this week, and oddly enough, one of the first classes that I taught before getting into the yoga studio after the injury and the accident was for Senior Pampering Day.
Okay.
For the folks and the good ladies over in Chi O'Shea's office, they have a senior community that they often create this Senior Pampering Day for.
Break out who Chi O'Shea is.
He is the city councilman for District 36 in Brooklyn. That's like Bed-Stuy.
Bed-Stuy.
And he's been very active, actually the youngest city councilman to get elected. So
somebody who was instrumental in getting that dedicated bike lane over there.
That's a fact. So he is definitely someone of noteworthy change, so to speak. Now, through his office, they offer, as I mentioned, this Senior Pampering Day. The first time I taught, we were in the Weeksville Heritage Center over in Weeksville, which is an amazing space. If you're ever in Brooklyn and you want a tour, you should definitely go there. They have original houses on the property that you can visit and see into. So definitely a historical landmark. But we were, in fact, at the Brooklyn Children's Museum.
Okay.
On the rooftop.
Yes, sir.
Now, on this rooftop, there was a lovely L-shaped setup. So like the table was like an L, similar to like that dinner party at the Brooklyn Museum exhibit. Yeah. Imagine like half of that. So one, I always love non-traditional seating. Whenever you have the chance and you just put people in a line, it's like, that shit is boring. Like, give me a nice...
Everybody facing each other.
Everybody facing each other. Everybody can see the joy across the table. The senior population was a bunch of lovely, just older women that showed love. They felt like they was my grandmothers, my aunts, my, cousins, like literally. So, we were able to share in a moment of some meditation as well as some chair yoga. Yeah. Afterwards, they were showing your boy mad love.
You found your population.
I'm talking selfies. You get what I'm saying? Business cards. One of them owns the Airbnb spot in Trinidad and Tobago. So now she's like, yo, let me know.
Little TNT.
Listen, in the BB, not with her, but with my lady. That's my grandma. You know what I'm saying? We ain't doing none of that, grandma. I ain't one of them.
Oh, that's what comes with the price.
Nah, no. Only if the pocket's deep. You know what I'm saying? But that's a conversation for another day. That's more than sugar. I don't know what's older than sugar.
Werther's Originals mama right there. You got one of them hard plastic candies in the bottom of the purse, mama.
I love them, though. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
As long as it got the wrapper, though. If it ain't got a wrapper on it, you leave that alone.
She giving you straight lint, man. That's dangerous. What's up.
But aside from that, man, it was really a joyous occasion to be able to hold space with them. And it was beautiful, man. We helped each other help each other.
That's what's up, man. I love that for you, bro. I do definitely think that that's your target demo.
100%.
Always has been.
It never changed,
I'm afraid to ask.
You can vibe on music.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I'm afraid to ask what the playlist was, because if I find out that you had the senior citizens twerking in the chairs,
I use my phone
I would be very upset.
For the meditation. I know my space, all right? You're going to stop treating me like I'm not a child of God.
And you're going to stop talking to me like you wouldn't do that. Having them
a little geriatric aerobics. Nah. Not up in here. If it was, it'd be to some good music. Definitely not no Sexy Red. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Nah. I know the type.
They Caribbean too, so you gotta throw on that parade music. Back way.
Nah, chill. You can't have Velvet in there.
Sorry,
that's wild.
You know what I'm saying? How are you relaxing, brother?
Hey, oddly enough, my relaxation came in the form of spending some time with some elderly women as well.
See? Best population to be a part of.
It definitely was, man. I got to shout out to my grandmother's sister. My great aunt had a birthday this week, and I got a chance to kick it with some of the senior women in my family all at the same time. And man, yeah, it's a gem and an opportunity to be cherished, to hear all of the different kind of conversations that happens around those tables, because it's exactly how my childhood was. And I really could stand back and look and hear why I think the way that I think. Because the insults coming across the table is still just as hot and ready as they have ever been in life.
Don't stop.
Hey, listen, girl, you better come over here with all your, like, I'm telling you, leaning into the dozens. Dragging from top to bottom. Hey, you better draw them eyebrows on with your what I'm talking about.
You drew them on in the dark.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is.
You need to pay that light bill, girl.
And I love every part of it because it's like, yo, this is the truest, most authentic form of where my life came from. You got that shirt on sale, huh? Like, it'd be so quick and so fast. You turn your head, you might even miss it. It's like, was that a compliment? Was that an insult? I don't even know where it came from.
That was her knees cracking. That's what it was.
All of that at the same time. But so much love coming into the same room as well. So much reverence for the people who are still here, the people who were here at different points in times, you know, the people who they want you to be is still very much understood and heard around those tables. And man, in every type of way, it's like a warm embrace. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Being around that, feeling like you're getting that uplifted is kind of like, all right, I got to stay in the game for a little bit longer. I got to make this work because I still got people rooting for me.
Listen, again, amen to that, brother, and never lose faith with the home base. I've always found it to be a bit of a recharge anytime you're around the people that molded you, right? Like the people that were a part of, like you said, the decisions, the way you think was because of them. I find myself looking more and more like my Uncle Kevin every day. Fam, I got 3 gray hairs. I told you this.
You keep talking about these gray hairs, man.
Because I ain't never seen them till I turned 33.
We're going to get you that Manscaped commercial. We're going to get you one of those.
I ain't shaving them. I'm just letting you know. I seen them. Their presence has been known. I was like, oh, we here now.
Hey, man, you stepping into it.
I don't know if it's the stress, but we ain't going to talk about that, brother. We going to talk about hopefulness. You want to let the people know what you hoping for, Tony.
Man, this hope is at the bottom of the rope this week, my man.
Listen, as long as the chair don't get kicked, that's all we need, brother. You know what I'm saying?
I am hopeful that, to be honest with you, bro, I'm hopeful to just make the next phase of progress happen as fast as possible at this point. It's like I'm looking to move expeditiously to wherever that next route is going to be, man. That's all I got on it. What you got in your hope, bro?
I am hopeful that the good Lord takes me off his strongest warrior list.
Damn sure. I'm tired of that one.
I ask that he work with me and not through me. Amen.
You know, I was like, I don't want to be nobody's example. I don't want to be nobody martyr.
I'm fine with being the example. Just work with me, not through me.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm good on that.
That's where I'm at with it.
The laying of the hands is needed.
Yeah, you know, just the strongest warrior list. Just take my name off.
I'm done.
Take me off.
Tapped out, Kyle.
Take me off. Put me in the mediocre.
I want to cash out like
it's not
GP,
even how you
bro.
say it. You heard the Y in there. It's the mediocre. Put me there.
I need to get one of those cash outs. I need to be up there with the WeWorks dude that left with 300 mil. The Nike dude that they just got up out of there. You know he got a crazy package.
Ideas.
all the great mediocre whites.
Give me 3 years. 300 mil.
That's my exit strategy, bro. That's all I need.
If it fall through, I'll leave with 150.
Yeah, that's it.
If I double that 300 in the 6, put some respect on my name.
Well, if they needed to respect your name, Kyle, first and foremost, where would they find you? How would they learn more about what KR Jones has going on?
You could find me on KR Jones. I still got the underscore because I don't know who the first dude is. That's on IG. Or you can visit Off the Strength _ man. That's the same thing that's on Instagram. If you're in the greatest city in the world, sometimes that is New York City, you could come on down to Rockefeller Center and visit Newsstand Studios, where you can see myself, a trainer called Tony, live and direct at the bottom in the block of the Rock. Or if you skip money, you could always stay online and visit Rockefeller Center on Instagram or Rock Center NYC on Twitter.
That's right, folks. And once again, we are brought to you in part by the good brother Brian Perkins and I Did That Productions. Kyle, you got anything you want to leave people with as we start to transition into this first week of fall? Any other last thoughts and comments you want to drop on them?
The wash your hands is still high on the list.
It's moving up in this cold and flu season for sure.
In priority, it's up there.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Secondarily, know your place in space. Mm-hmm. Spatial awareness will keep you safe.
And or you get reached out and touched, like however it needs to be.
You're gonna get anointed with a barrage of blessings to your face.
Once again, it's been another fantastic episode of Off the Strength. I'm a trainer called Tony.
KR Jones.
Peace and much love to everybody out there. Until next time, we'll see you soon. Peace. What's good, everybody? I'm a trainer called Tony, and I am here from the infamous Off the Strength podcast, asking you today, listeners, viewers, wherever you may be, to please like, listen, and subscribe to our podcast. This is how we're going to continue to be able to deliver you the best goddamn wellness information out here. So if you want to keep hearing this and you want us to keep growing, you are a part of this show just as much as anything else. So please go to offthestrength.com. Make sure you check out our blogs. Make sure you check us out on IG. And if you're hearing this voice and you didn't hit that subscribe button, know that Kyle is going to come looking for you.
You got that right.